Thank you. One's good. Oh, boy. It was a great night here, still is, at Boston Pizza Westgate. Unfortunately, the Oilers do not hold up their end of the bargain as they lose 4-3 in overtime to the Toronto Maple Leafs, a third straight overtime game this week. And, a lot of people already angry in the nasty chat. I'm seeing it on our text line, and deservedly so. A lot of vitriol going towards Evan Bouchard tonight after he helps lead the collapse when the Oilers were up 2-1 in the third period. Text us, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. I see a lot of you already are. We're live on location, Boston Pizza Westgate. Like I said, shout out to Curtis, who's right back here, owner GM of BP Westgate. Tony, absolutely tremendous. It was a great night, and you could hear the collective gasps and ahs and sighs and anger in that late part of the third period when the Oilers coughed up the lead, got the lead back. People were excited again. And then lose in overtime on a bad turnover. Hernan Salas back at EST HQ. We got the Combine crew chanting and saying, do the shots. Cheers. Here's to you. Curtis, thank you for having us. Let's start on a positive note, even though the Oilers lost. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. 6 o'clock or longer. Thank you, Kurt. Available here at Boston Pizza Westgate. All right, Hernan Salas, get in here. I need to say GCL Diesel as well, our presenting sponsor of the post-game show, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Cass is going to hop on here right away, Hernan, but you just said it. You're not happy, deservedly and rightfully so. I'm just going to say, go ahead, lay it on me, brother. I want to hear what you thought of what happened tonight.
Yeah, this is getting ridiculous, Tom. The fourth game out of 5 that you blew a late goal lead. Once again, listen, Evan Bouchard, man, sit his ass. Seriously, enough is enough, man. Look at he gives up the second goal. The third goal, did you see his lazy effort? At the blue line, he stopped skating because he has Ekholm there. Like, come on, man. Wake the hell up. Sit his ass. I don't care that Darnell Nurse is out. I don't. Darnell Nurse is out. Let the other guys play. Let the other guys play and show what they got. But Evan Bouchard, enough is enough, man. You're supposed to be one of the top defenders on this team, and that's the effort you give? That's the effort you give? And how about a save? Like, I'm done with these damn excuses. Oh, but yeah, the breakaway McMann, sure, it's a tough one. But God, goalies make tough saves. And I'm not putting this on Stuart Skinner, but you would like a save. And it's on the nasty chat right now. But Evan Bouchard, my Lord, man. Like, what else are we supposed to say? Like, Tommy, enough is enough with this guy. And what do the coaches do? They throw him right back out there, shift after shift after shift. Where's the accountability? This game was in the bag. Darnell Nurse gets knocked out by a cheap shot by one of the probably the most useless guy in the NHL. They get a 5-minute power play. Nothing. Where's the beat on this team? Hey, let's go win this for our guy Darnell, a core guy. One of our assistant captains who got knocked the hell out. And the power play crickets. Like, it's beyond ridiculous. Evan Bouchard's effort, I'm sorry, Tom, maybe I'm going too hard, but the effort on those last 2 goals, that cannot happen. Why don't you play safe? Why don't you play boring hockey and win the damn game?
Woo. Nancito. May I?
I just said the A word. I didn't say anything else.
I know. That's the Latino heat we know and love.
But like, enough.
Calling them out because they deserve it.
Like,
everything you said, Hernan's fair.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm a little passionate. You know, I still care about this team, but that is ridiculous what we saw tonight. Beyond ridiculous from Evan Bouchard.
I'm not defending Stu Skinner tonight. He gets caught trying to go out, tries to backtrack. Bobby McMann, too easy. Yes, Bouchard, I don't know what the hell he did on that entire play. That was absolutely a putrid effort. And then prior to that, with that giveaway in his own zone, firing it off of Connor McDavid, the turnover leads directly to a goal. That is absolutely unacceptable. Let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999. The Latino heat is hot on Fuego, and I'm here for it. Let us know how you feel. Nasty chat as well. Let's get into it. Scoring summary, game stats from Edmonton's loss in overtime, 4-3. Things started out pretty good for this Oilers team. Adam Henrique opened up the scoring. Finally, good to see him getting off the schneid a little bit. 2 goals on the year for Henrik. From Janmark and Brown, that line had some moments. That goal coming at 1:42, 1-zip Oilers. And then Bobby McMann later in the period at 3:53 would equalize it. Scramble in front. Terrible giveaway by McDavid around the goal line. Emberson, bad back check. They allow McMann to bang home some garbage after Skinner made the first save. Give McMann 5 on the year. Tavares and Marner the assist at 3:53. To the second period we go. Just a minute 51 in on the power play. The Oilers got a power play goal. That's nice. That's nice, but it wasn't all nice on the power play for Edmonton tonight. Connor McDavid, his 7th of the year from Zach Hyman and Leon Draisaitl. 2-1 Oilers. To the third we go. We're thinking, all right, maybe they learned their lesson this week. Coughing up leads, going into overtime, winning it in overtime. Wrong. Absolutely wrong, because at 13:08, Matthew Knies, his 8th of the year. It says officially unassisted, but you could give that one to Bouchard because he fires it off of Connor McDavid. Terrible decision-making. Usually Bouch makes that pass. I don't know, but that was just awful all around. Nice snipes it by Stu Skinner, 2-2. And then at 14:07, so 59 seconds later, Bobby McMann, 2nd of the night, 6th of the season from Oliver Ekman-Larsson to make it 3-2 for the Leafs. Again, puck goes to Bouchard, Karam off the bounce. The bounce off the wall, he kind of lets it go. Very nonchalant going back. McMann busting his butt. Gets by Bouchard, gets by Ekholm. Skinner comes out. Then he decides, oh no, this guy's coming in fast. I need to back up. McMann has him beat. 2nd of the night, 6th of the year. Ekman-Larsson gets the assist on that one, 14:07. And then with the goalie pulled, Leon Draisaitl, his 13th. From Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid on a goal mouth scramble at 18:31. And in overtime, the Oilers with a couple of rushes. Draisaitl tries the backhand pass on an odd man rush. It gets blocked. Block goes back the other way. Mitch Marner converts down low on Stu Skinner, blocker side, to make it 4-3 Toronto. Give them 2 points. Edmonton picks up the loser point. That goal coming just 40 seconds into overtime. Edmonton outshoots Toronto 30-22. The faceoffs 55.8% for Edmonton to 44.2 for the Leafs. Power play goes 1 for 2, although it didn't look particularly great on that 5-minute man advantage when Ryan Reaves was kicked out of the game. Match penalty for the headshot on Darnell Nurse. We're going to have to talk about that with Matt Cassian right away here. The PK, silver lining, I guess. The wound is still fresh, though. Goes 4 for 4 on the night. Hits 18-15 in favor of the Leafs. Block shots 27-17 in favor of the Leafs. Giveaways 14 for Toronto to 11 for Edmonton. Takeaways 7 for the Oilers, 4 for the Leafs. But the numbers that matter are 4 underneath Toronto, 3 underneath Edmonton. Let's welcome in our game analyst, Matt Cassian, as the Oilers lose it 4-3 in OT. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. And get at us in the nasty chat. I know it's a crappy way to end the night for the Oilers, but give us a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if you don't mind, please, and thank you. All right, Cass, let's just start with Evan Bouchard. Evan Bouchard, let's just start there. Yeah, because that was a horrendous sequence.
Oh, not a great finish to the game for Evan Bouchard. Horrible turn. I don't know. I watched the play again. I'm like, I don't know where that's going. I don't know what he was trying to do. Like, what were you hoping to manufacture with that play? If you had absolutely nothing, you weren't under heavy pressure. You could have just chipped it. You could have slowed it down. You could have held on to it. You could have skated at the wall. You could have off the glass. Like, why try to go cross ice through bodies to try to send someone on a breakaway or generate crazy offense when you're winning the game? Doesn't make any sense. So horrible play. And then, Ekholm is equally at fault on that second goal where now he's positioned well, but just gets beat. McMann has a great jump. If you look at it, from a gap standpoint, Ekholm's at the blue line, McMahon's at the top of the circles, and Ekholm ultimately gets beat back for it. So he beats him in the foot race. Now, Bouchard doesn't look very good because he doesn't help, and he stops skating. He just kind of quits on the play, which is a horrible look. Now, if he could get in there, get a stick in there, maybe McMahon doesn't feel like he can, cut all the way across, and he's flying with so much speed. It is a tough save to make, like with how much speed he had, but it doesn't look good for Bouchard. And then we have the toe drag right at the end of the game. It ends up working just barely, but you're kind of like, why are you trying to toe drag Mitch Marner along the blue line in a tie game with, seconds left? Probably still enough time for Marner to go down and have an opportunity if you would have let it happen. Tough finish to the game for Evan Bouchard. Didn't look good, and maybe feeling a little bit of Darnell Nurse not being in the lineup there at towards the end.
Okay, I said it off the top. I'm not going to defend Stu Skinner tonight, but yeah, that was a horrible sequence. Cass, you broke that down very nicely, and you also segued into the Darnell Nurse situation. Listen, the Oilers couldn't convert. They had trouble on the power play. They go 1 for 2 tonight. We'll give them credit there. They go 4 for 4 on the PK. Credit there. That's the third straight game they haven't allowed a goal against on the PK. But your take, you're a defender of your teammates. That's how you played. That's what you were known for. That was your reputation in the National Hockey League. The play on Darnell Nurse by Ryan Reaves. I just want to hear your thoughts before I shed opinion on it.
Yeah. Well, it was a dirty hit. It looked like he caught him all straight in the head. If he catches him in the shoulder, it's probably just a massive hit. Like he would have blown him up. But it was all in the head. Now, no one that was on the ice aside from Darnell Nurse is a guy that's going to fight Ryan Reaves. No one has to, and you're going to get the power play. So I'm fine with sitting and waiting. But it was Ryan Reaves is a guy that's going to try to take runs at guys. That would be one for me where you have Toronto again. You play them again. You're circling that date for a guy like me, and maybe Darnell Nurse will. He is a guy that can hold his own and stand up for himself if need be. But yeah, hey, dirty hit, high hit. There will be a suspension. Ryan Reaves is a repeat offender, as it were. So it's just a matter of how many games. Now it's Toronto, so whatever you're thinking, subtract 2 or 3 off of it, and then you'll get the Toronto version of the suspension, which is what we'll see. So it'll be interesting to see what it ends up being. But yeah, it was a dirty hit. And they want to jump because people have been shredding me just as much as they've been shredding Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse in the nasty chat about me and my love for Stuart Skinner. I'm not going to defend the overtime goal, but really on the 3 other ones, like, did Stuart Skinner turn that puck over for Evan Bouchard? Like, did Stuart Skinner not make the first save on a rebound goal when your team should have been there? Did Stuart Skinner, give a guy a breakaway with all kinds of speed right at the end of the game? Like, he didn't give much help. Not going to defend the overtime goal.
Yeah.
You'd like to see him make a save there. It was a good shot above the pad, inside the post. Like, it was a well-placed shot by a really great player that can score goals. He's scored a couple hundred. That's, it was number 200 for him. He can put the puck in the net. But not going to defend him on that. But just maybe defend myself a little bit from all the anger in the nasty chat.
The first goal I will not put on Stu Skinner. I said I'm not going to defend him, but I'm not going to put that first one on Stu Skinner. McDavid mishandles it at the goal line, and then Ty Emerson can't pick up McMann. There's a scramble after Skinner makes the first save. That's just a compounding errors, Matt Cassian, as you eloquently coined that term last year. After that, I get it. I would love a save too, but what led to those goals, I think, were more egregious than the lack of save. Again, fully saying I'm not defending Stu Skinner tonight. I would have loved to have seen a save on those, but the fact that he had to be put in that position by some terrible plays is the most concerning part.
Oh yeah, and when you had the lead too, Tom, like you had the lead. That's the thing, is you were winning the hockey game. And one of the other disappointing things, and you pointed out a little bit, and it is good they do get a power play goal. It is great. Their penalty kill looked good. That's a huge positive. Their penalty kill did look good tonight. Kills everything off. Kills off a 5-on-3. Great. That is great. But that 5 minute major, they didn't do anything. And so I know it says it's 1 for 2, but really it's like 1 for 3.5. Like where they just weren't able to manufacture any kind of momentum, any kind of threat on that 5 minute penalty, which was I don't want to say that's the turning point in the game, but it's a pretty big moment. Like you score another one in that 5-on-3, the game's probably over or close to. So it was a little bit disappointing, that power play, the 5 minute major for me, just the execution from the Oilers.
All right, Cass, I'm glad you said that because the turning point of the game, we need to get to that. That is brought to you, as always, by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists and strength and conditioning coaches and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. Cass, to me, the 5 minute non-converting on that's a pain in the ass, but they still had the lead. They're still in control. It was an absolutely egregious giveaway by Evan Bouchard. I'm just putting that turning point on him because I've said it all season. He's a slow starter, Cass, but man, that was just, I've seen him make some dumb plays, and that was just an awful sequence.
Yep.
Because I don't know where the motor is. It hasn't been revved up for him yet this year. A few times this season we've had it pop up, but wow.
Yep.
Just wow.
On the plus side, maybe that AAV is coming down a little bit.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, so you knew someone. If it's not me, it was going to be someone else. So, yeah.
Touche. And some of the texts that I've seen that have come in are like, well, I heard he's asking for 10 plus. He is not getting it now. I know there's a lot of hockey left to be played, but if you're the Oilers and you want to make an argument, you're like, well, this guy, you did this. What's going on here? And totally get it. Absolutely. All right. We got text coming in, 780-218-9999. Yes, Nancito, I was like, where are you? Get in here. What's going on?
Tommy and Matt, I want to throw these numbers to you. These are from our good buddy Brian Swain, okay? So listen closely, and everybody listening to us as well. Oilers' last 5 games, 6 goals against in the first 2 periods combined. 9 goals against in the third period combined, okay? They have blown a third period lead and either gone to OT or lost in regulation in 4 of their last 5 games.
Yes.
Oilers in November, okay? 9 goals against in the first 2 periods combined. 11 goals against in the third period. Oilers this season, 31 goals against in the first 2 periods combined. 24 goals against in the third period. That is amazing stat.
That's a pretty ugly stat, isn't it?
Yeah, I shouldn't say amazing, but it's ugly.
Well, amazing in how ugly it is, right? Like
amazingly ugly.
God. Amazingly ugly. Yeah, that's bad. I mean, that's we did talk about it, and seeing it again, and I think I said there was other things going on that I was more concerned about because Tommy, you did ask me that, you both did, and actually maybe that was even your question, Hernan, about the Oilers and their lack of finish, but. Yeah, just again, you call it killer instinct, call it what you want, but you just fell apart again in the third period. And that, stats speaks volumes, doesn't it, guys?
It's just, and I guess, guys, what's concerning, and I think I talked with Reed about this last week, was those are numbers for a young team that are finding their stride, finding their groove. Like, this team shouldn't be that bad in the third period and late in games. Now, you can't make up for boneheaded plays like Evan Bouchard for the second goal. Like, that's on Evan Bouchard. That's not on the D-core. That's not on the forward. That's not on his partner. That's on Evan Bouchard. But it's this team in the third periods, guys. It's getting concerning. And listen, we're harsh on Darnell Nurse a lot of the times, but when he's good, and he's been really good. And I suspect he's going to miss some time here, guys, because that hit was vicious. And as much as sometimes we were frustrated with Darnell, they're going to miss him mightily, man. Like, this guy is huge for this team.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's almost undoubtedly a concussion. If you just the way he went down, the way he grabbed his head, the way he was getting off the ice, undoubtedly a concussion. So you don't know. You don't know. It could be 2 days. It could be 3 days. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be more. You don't know yet. So we'll have to see. for Darnell Nurse, how that pans out. But I agree with you. For as hard as we are on him at sometimes, and I said it before the season, I said it before playoffs last year, I will say it again now. Darnell Nurse is the most important player on the Edmonton Oilers defense. And the reason I say that is that, Ekholm's going to be steady. Bouchard had a night like he had tonight, but generally you're not freaking out about those two. Now we can freak out at Bouchard tonight. Totally fine with it. Go for it. Knock yourselves out doing it.
Yeah.
But on a night-to-night basis, Darnell Nurse in your second pairing, he has to be good. If the Oilers want to be successful, if they want to win in the playoffs, you need Darnell Nurse to be good. He is incredibly important to this team. So we'll have to see, because now from a depth standpoint, Kulak can slide to that left side, play in the second pairing. But now you are running with, Dermott, Stetcher, or Emberson to fill that spot. And all of a sudden, one injury. And again, we don't know how long. We don't know if he misses one game. We don't know yet. But if he's going to miss time, all of a sudden that D is looking pretty thin. You got three guys now, and you're like, okay, well, we have someone that really is a third pairing in and out of the lineup. Not even a consistent in the lineup. Like those other three guys, they've been rotating him through the lineup. So they haven't even been at the level where it's like, these are regular guys in your third pairing. They're on the ice every single night, and you're going to have to ask one of them to play in your second pairing. It's gotta find a solution or find an answer, but a little bit scary with the potential of Darnell Nurse being out.
Hey guys, can I just say this? I was driving back in the second intermission from BP's, and I did hear Jack say he got a report from the dressing room that he was in good spirits. He was joking around with the training staff, and that he was feeling pretty good. So that's a positive.
That is a positive, but again, you just don't know, guys. You have no idea. You have no idea. Immediately.
I'll say this. Then we had people, I think it was John of St. Albert, saying, any update on Darnell Nurse? And Nancy, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's great that he was, lucid and talking and aware. He's concussed.
Yeah,
okay?
Sleep on it.
He looked like Tua Tagovailoa there. And that is scary. And Darnell Nurse is as tough as they come. The guy is a thoroughbred. He's a big boy. He's mean, but that is the scariest I've ever seen a situation Darnell Nurse has been in his career, and you can just see it in his eyes.
Wrong, Tom. Like his bell was absolutely wrong. Like it was a concussion. Yeah. Like, because normally, he gets hit that hard. It doesn't matter if it's Reaves or anybody. Like Darnell's going to stand up for himself, go after him. Yeah. But the second that he stayed down, you're like, oh, well, the second when it happened, I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. No. And when he stayed down, you're like, that's really not good. Then you could see, cut two. May not have been maybe either a pressure cut or could have been from the visor when he fell. You don't know exactly when the cut happened, but it's like he's cut. It was clearly pretty much 100% headshot. He's hurt. You knew that immediately. Like he's concussed. He's hurt. Probably not coming back tonight, and they will take some time to evaluate, even if he's in good spirits. Now, it is good that he's in good spirits. It's good that it's not like he's still woozy, wonky, out of it. You don't want to see that, but you just don't know for concussions the length of time, because he could wake up tomorrow and there's so much going on, because it has to do with your neck muscles and your back muscles and your shoulders and everything that can feed into that, where it's like, well, your bell got rung and now you're dealing with headache. There's so much stuff that could be going on that we just don't know yet, and they're not going to know yet either. So he could be in good spirits. Yes. He's not, still unconscious, not at the hospital, which is a positive thing, a great thing. Don't want to see him hurt, but we just don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the latest on Darnell Nurse, and if we get something from Kris Knoblauch, and I'm assuming we probably won't get much in terms of detail, but I'll also add this, that the Oilers, immediately after he got off the ice, put out a note to all of us in the media saying he would not return. So they're not messing around with this, and it looks scary. Ryan Reaves is a big, strong guy. Darnell Nurse is a big, strong guy, and again, the look in his eyes and the way his body contorted, knowing him for a long time, I was concerned. I'll be honest, I'll say it. I was concerned. It didn't look good.
Well, he wasn't out, guys, but Tom, we were standing together when that happened, but he's a bit he was wobbly for sure, but he wasn't completely out. But and Darnell is, he's a tough guy. He was trying, you can tell he was trying to get up and try to, show that he was fine and all that. But yeah, he looked extremely wobbly. I am intrigued to see the games he gets, because I think some people on the X are saying it should start at least at 5-6. But Cass made a good point. He is a Toronto guy. but he is a repeat.
He's not
offender,
getting
guys.
5 or 6.
You think it's more?
No, I don't think it. I don't think it gets to that many.
Wow.
I think it's like
you think
3.
it's less. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm being pessimistic because I don't have faith in the Department of Player Safety.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Hernan, take that number that you think, so 5 or 6, and take 2 to 3 off of it. Right?
Okay.
Like that's Toronto. It's what you do. Yeah, it's Toronto. It's what you do.
That's
All right.
crazy.
Boys, I mean, this has a lot of people fired up, and it should. This game, a lot of things happened. It's high emotion. It's in Toronto. They piss away a lead. They do get the point in overtime. They lose Darnell Nurse in an emotional and tough way. A lot of vitriol. So let's get to some of the texts that are coming. 780-218-9999. I do want to listen. We're gonna stick with the mood. We don't want to get too happy and all that stuff. But we do have a giveaway on the show, and it's
Yes,
courtesy
we
of
do.
Molson Canadian and Curtis and Tony and the great staff here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Huge shout out to all the nasties that came out tonight. Combine crew's still here. VR Montenegro, Big U, Ginger, my dad, my whole family. It's his birthday, and the whole. We had Kelvin. They had great giveaways, and we have a putter that we have to open up to everybody that's watching and listening. It's a tailor-made Spider putter. It's a left-handed putter, value $250. We have a trivia question. We're going to throw it out one more time. And if anybody gets the answer right, you're in the draw for this tailor-made putter, courtesy of Molson Canadian and everyone here at BP Westgate. Nanso, quickly, can you throw out the trivia question one more time? And then I'm going to get to some texts because people are pissed off.
It was the Oilers' last win before tonight's game was in Toronto was on March 29th, 2021. They won 3-2 in overtime. We wanted to know who scored the overtime winner and who got the assist, and that's kind of tied into the Oilers' last game. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So
Yes.
We got a lot of correct answers. I will be selecting someone. And Tom, just to be clear, once I let the winner know, they'll have to pick up the club at Boston Pizza Westgate. Okay.
Boston Pizza Westgate, exactly 170th Street and 90th Ave. So text in the right answers, and from the right answers, we will have a winner, and it's a great putter. Thank you to Curtis and Tony here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Tailor-made Spider putter. These things are not cheap, and they're great clubs. So, all right, boys, here we go. A little bit of nice before we get to the nasty. McLovin texting in says, Tommy, all caps, old, slow, soft, and disconnected. Beware the four-headed monster of the Oilers. Jeff Jackson destroyed this team in one off season. Ken Holland was no genius, but it's truly amazing work by JJ. Guys, JJ's mad, clearly. I don't, or pardon me, McLovin's mad about Jeff Jackson, clearly, but one loss, I don't know. Go ahead. Whoever wants it.
It's just Toronto hurts more, for sure. But listen, this team is still a good team. But I don't want to be too harsh on the whole team because today was a bonehead play that put Toronto back in it. It was one player. Sorry. And that's the end of it. It's one bonehead play where he could just eat it or just lift or lob it up in the air, make a safe, boring play, ice the damn puck, do something. But instead, and Cass said it, we still don't know where the puck was going, what he was thinking. And he was frustrated. Sure, you saw him kick the puck after, but not good enough. So listen.
Didn't even kick it that well.
Yeah, this team is still good. Do they need help on the back end? 100% they do. But at the end of the day, guys, today it came down to certain players with bonehead plays. Simple as that.
Yeah,
Cass,
they're still 6-3-1 in the last 10, guys. So it was slow start to the season. They struggled. They didn't do some good things, but they've been playing much better. 6-3-1 in the last 10. They go 6-3-1 every single time the rest of the way. You're in pretty good shape. Really, you're in pretty good shape at that. Because I didn't have to look at how many points that puts you at, but you're most likely a playoff team, and you're doing okay. I don't think Jackson completely blew this up. I thought, as we all did, applauded some of the moves he made early. And then some of the moves later, I didn't understand. I didn't understand trading Cody Ceci. And I just like people rip on me for Stuart Skinner, they ripped on me for Ceci. Maybe they'll start again here now that I'm saying this. But there are some things where I'm like, I thought that was a mistake. To their D depth to do that. So there were some things that were good, and there were some things that weren't good. Now, the Jeff Skinner, I don't think you can write that off as being, oh, that was a horrible signing at this point. You got a guy that's a perennial 20 to 30 goal scorer for a very low cost. So, and still too early to write that one off. You got Adam Henrique. Don't think that was a horrible signing. Now, not addressing the D to say they didn't do enough there. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Like, let's look at that. I think that's reasonable to say that they could have done more, should have done more. They probably are still looking to do more, but just to say it's completely blown up and completely ruined, I don't think that's right. Again, 6-3-1 in their last 10.
And Cass,
really quickly. Oh, Cass, go ahead, Hernan. Actually, I'll add something when you're done.
I was just gonna say, I thought Jeff Skinner was around it again tonight. He's not finishing. Of course, you want him to, but let's not sit here and trash the guy, because when he signed, 99% of the Oilers fan base, everybody that follows the Oilers, was ecstatic with that move. And there's still something there, guys. It's not over because they lose to Toronto, but there's still something there. You're hoping to get Arvidsson back. Again, play him with Draisaitl and let them roll and keep your first line intact. Just stop. And I get it's 11-7 tonight, guys, and it was probably a good thing with the Nurse injury because you had 6 D-man. But once they get back to 12 forwards, Knobloch needs to stick with some lines here. And Tom, we talked about this on the Oil Stream yesterday. Podkolzin, for everything he does well, retrieve pucks, get on the body. You need to produce if you're playing with Draisaitl, and he hasn't.
Nope. He is not a top 6 forward. I stand by that and will, even though he might get a goal or two here and there. I can respect and understand wanting to have him on your line to retrieve pucks, but when you can't finish, it's very, very frustrating. And the one thing I wanted to just add to the point after you and Cass talked about it, the old slow McLovin's upset, obviously. And I'll say this. If there was a chip off the glass instead of a pass to the middle off your own guy, your centerman coming down low for a hook to go back up the ice. If there's a chip off the glass, we're probably not talking about this scenario right now.
Nope.
And McLovin's not saying old, slow, fast, JJ screwed up. Guaranteed we're not.
Yep. And
I love the passion.
My Skinner love. So
yeah. McLovin, I understand the frustration, but to go from what happened tonight to this is Jeff Jackson's fault, I get the anger, but I think we're stretching a bit. That's just my take on it. If there's a chip off the glass and out, and they hang on somehow, we're talking about how this team learned its lesson after the last 2 giving up leads. We're talking about how they managed to win it for their teammate. They're getting over the hump in Toronto. If there was a chip off the glass. But there wasn't. There was a stupid play followed up by a stupid play on the next shift. And we're talking about an OT loss because they bailed themselves out of those 2 stupid plays magically in the last minute and a half. And so, Cass, take it away.
Bobby McMann always been that fast because he looked.
The guy works his ass off,
man. Holy smokes!
Yeah, wheels. That's a good old Alberta boy right there.
Yeah, man. Holy smokes, he looked great on that play.
Because it's I think he's Lethbridge, or not Lethbridge, Lloydminster, isn't he? So he better be from the Alberta side of Lloydminster. That's what I hope, anyways.
He's a Alberta boy.
Might be Vermilion. Yeah,
Vermilion. I love Vermilion.
Or Lloyd. I can't recall if it's on.
Hey, Tommy, just a heads up. I'm still waiting on Postgame.
All good.
Nothing yet. We should be hearing from Evan Bouchard. I hope we do.
I would hope so. Let me just check to see if there was a request for him. Skinner and we haven't gotten an update from them who's going to speak. So we will await that. In the meantime, we have a lot of texts to get to. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. The Oilers fall 4-3 in overtime, blowing a late lead, salvaging a point when they scored with the goalie pulled, and then coughing it up in overtime and ultimately losing. Gazzola, Cassian, and Salas with you. I'm live on location, Boston Pizza Westgate. Absolutely tremendous time despite the performance and outcome for the Oilers. Nanso at the EST HQ and Cass inside his EST satellite studios. All right, boys, let's get to some text. Gags texting says, Tommy and the boys, I'm still going to say that Stu's goaltending isn't an issue. Come on. Again, second best goalie tonight and lets in 4. Yes, some bad errors on the D side, but you need your goalie to bail the team out with a save. And I say this knowing full well that Bouch had a tough few moments that didn't help at all. Kisses, gags. I'm not defending Skinner tonight, but yeah, I think we hit on that. A lot of Skinner vitriol, I understand. Joe Not Exotic says, Connor from Leon and Barrie. Nice. Appreciate that. That's a good answer. C-Mac says, back pressure could force a shot if Bouchard skates harder. A weaker shot may be rushed. Cass, you want to jump in on that one? That's a little bit of tactics, a little bit of second effort.
Yeah, well, the second effort, and I think I said that, where if he's able to apply some pressure, McMann might not feel like he has the ability to drive across like there, and you have some help for Stuart Skinner to know there's another body there, another stick in the way, and it makes the whole situation easier. Now, would he have actually been able to get there or do something? Maybe not. McMann was flying. He was pretty far back, but it sure as heck would have helped if he got on his horse and hustled. And even just optics wise, you know, you don't want to be that guy because it just, you quit on the play. Even if you weren't going to get there, you quit on the play, and that's not acceptable.
Cass, you've been in the room. You played at the highest level. You were with the Wild and the Sens. Like, when something like this happens, like obviously the players are not attacking their own player. I get that. It's ridiculous to think that they always have each other's backs. But what's kind of the mood in there when a player has a horrible giveaway and then just a really lackluster effort? Like, does anyone say anything? Is it just on the coach and players kind of mind their own business?
Yeah. I mean, some of the leadership guys might talk to him about it. You're not going to call him out in front of the room.
Yeah.
You know, in front of everybody. You're not going to rip on them. You might say some generalities about working and second efforts, but you're not going to, and everyone will know who you're talking about, but you're not necessarily going to just shred a guy to his face. Now, behind the scenes, away from it, which is generally how you should do it anyways. Like, if there's issues like that, the first place you go is privately, and you're like, hey man, like, we got to get more from you. We need more from you in this situation. You can't let that happen. Like, you have those conversations, not in front of everybody. You're not trying to embarrass people, especially because it's like, he knows, and you're going to see the video. The video's not going to lie, right? Like, everyone will see that video. And I think you could see the frustration even in Ekholm in that moment. And that he might be a guy, because that's your D partner, right? Where it's like, you could talk to him and be like, hey man, you can't do that. Like, you got to work to get back. I know you might not get there. I know whatever, but like, just put it in. Like, do what you can, try to help, because if you would have helped, it could have been a different play. And that's a veteran player that's a leader in the room, even if he doesn't wear a letter, that has experience and that's his partner and that he knows wants the best for him and wants to have success, that maybe you could do it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, sometimes some of the guys, it's like they know, and everyone in the room knows, and some guys might feel it, but the right guy has to be the one to say something. And again, it has to be done in the right situation, in the right environment, because you're not just trying to blow everything up and create all unnecessary conflict in the room. You know, your objective needs to be to make the team better so that it doesn't happen again. And just yelling at people or calling them out in front of everybody doesn't always do that. It may get to that point at some point to where you have to, but you know, there's generally some things that you should do before.
I don't think it gets to that point either. And you're right, Cass. Like, that's a great overview of like the inner workings of a team. I don't think it gets to that point after an OT loss, after you salvage a point, plus you won 2 games already this week. Like, they're not going to just blow up on each other after a week where they won 2 of 3 games. I think that's worth noting as well.
No, right. They're not going to do that. You know, they absolutely are not going to do that. I don't know if you guys have looked at the nasty chat, but it's going crazy. We have a couple Toronto fans in. One, Yabado says, crying about the suspension already, lols. He's obviously laughing because he knows that it should be a 6 or 7 game suspension, and it's going to be 2. So he knows.
Welcome to the Leafs fans who are joining us. We are Edmonton Sports Talk. We are your clear choice in sports in the city of Edmonton. And you join the Canucks faithful in being trolls, which is what we welcome, I guess. There's probably Canucks fans in there right now.
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. We welcome you. Yeah.
Here,
the other listeners and viewers might not like you, but that's fine. Okay, let's get to this text. It says, Edmonton Oilers hockey, an absolute brain-dead play in the last 10 minutes to piss that game away. Bouchard, just absolutely unacceptable. Skinner, we need a save here, man. The number 1 trade deadline acquisition is a goalie in my mind. Skinner will not win this team a cup. I'll guarantee you this. They're not going to go get a goalie. And I can tell you this on November 16th. Let's go to Andy Pandy. Andy Pandy via the text line says, once again, the Oilers throwaway game, it's nauseating. Bouchard was a joke tonight. It's time to consider putting that in the press box for a game. No urgency. And can we please get one decent save from Skinner? It's getting old. How far back in his net was Skinner on the OT goal? Just brutal. Stolars gave the Leafs a chance to win. Skinner didn't. This team can't get out of its way. Why can't they just stop handing teams 2 points? Has anyone seen Jeff Skinner and Nugent-Hopkins? May as well have gone to the Taylor Swift concert. What an angry way to start Saturday night, from Andy Pandy. Anything there any of you guys want to hit on?
Well, I'll agree. Stuart Skinner too far back in his net. Still a great shot. Well placed by Mitch Marner, a guy that knows how to score goals. But yeah, you'd like to see him have a little bit more of an aggressive angle on that. Now, he probably is feeling that the last 2 shots have gone in. He's probably, from a confidence and a momentum standpoint, hasn't seen a lot of rubber then. And yeah, it's tough. But should he have been out? Yeah, should have been out a little bit more for sure.
All right, let's dip back into the inbox. Hernan's working some audio for us via the Oilers in the locker room.
I do have Coach Nuge and Henrique. It doesn't look like Bouchard was made available.
Not surprised.
I would have loved to have heard from him tonight. Not that he would say anything. Mikey, before we go inside the room, Mikey says, spicy Latino heat is what I am here for. I didn't tune in for it, but I got it, and I love it. Thanks. From Mikey.
Well, thank Bouchard. Thank Bouchard. Don't
get us into the room. Oh, all right. You were spicy tonight.
I want to hear from the coach, guys. You cool with that?
Yeah.
All right. Here's Kris Knoblauch.
What's going on Postgame? Did you have a chance to look to see the hit against Nurse? And I don't know if it changes your opinion on seeing it live, if you saw it in the second.
Yeah, I did. It was contact to the head, and yeah, that's all. I did see it, and that's what I saw.
Just, do you feel it's just dangerous?
I'm worried about our player. Obviously, contact to the head, and we don't want to do that. But I won't get in the details of how severe it was and all that. So.
What does Darnell mean to this group, Kris?
Oh, Darnell's very important. Penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5 minutes. Yeah, he's a very important piece of our team, especially how well he had been playing this last week or two. Credit to the, fortunately we had 7 defensive draft tonight, and those guys really stepped up. And guys who aren't playing usually, Stetcher, Dermott, Amberson, those guys stepped up with his absence, but you can't replace Darnell.
It's obviously jarring to see him go out the way he did. What impact do you think that might have had on the guys?
Obviously, there's concern about our teammate. You're worried about his well-being, and still concerned, but I don't know much more to say.
What about maybe just for third there, it's 2-1, and it's not overtime and just everything?
Yeah. Overall, I thought first 10 minutes, I thought we were doing really well defending it, and, a couple mistakes. One, weren't even scoring chances that they generated. It was mistakes on our behalf. One, loose puck that's chased down, and another one just a pass that goes off our player's back end and, stays in the slot. So, unfortunately, anytime you're with the lead and you give it up, you're what happened. But, those 2 plays isn't just unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
How does How does no one
he's
ask
a nice
about Bouchard? Seriously. Like, I know he's not going to say much, but you should ask the question.
Yeah, from the guys there in the scrum. Yeah, maybe be more direct with it. Yeah, what do you say? What do you say to a player like Evan Bouchard after a play or a turnover like that? That's maybe what the question should have been.
Yeah,
to see how he answers.
Tommy, you're fired
That's
up.
unfortunate. I have a lot of time for Kris Knoblauch. He is a smart guy. He is not a guy that gets angry. He doesn't have the passion of a Latino heat. He doesn't get fired up as Cass. I think we're all pretty level-headed. I get fired up sometimes. He's not that guy, but that's unfortunate. This is one where I would like to hear just a little bit of a shot. Like, give him a little smack. Nanso, am I out of line where if a coach like Kris Knoblauch, who has over a year as an NHL head coach, has taken this team to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, granted he has great players, I fully respect that. If he said something like, that's unacceptable, we can't have that, and called him out a little bit, just a little smack on the bottom, I think that would be okay and appropriate in this scenario. Would it not? On side of 2 plays, that's unfortunate. Come on. Give me something. Give me some juice.
It wasn't unfortunate. It's just bad plays. Playing and Cass said it, like, we've all seen Knobloch for a year now. He's not that guy that throws players under the bus, which is fine. Like, you can't do that constantly. It wears thin with players and teams early on. But I agree with Tom in the sense that, I'm not saying call him out, but you should be a little bit more upset at that play. I don't know, man. And listen, I get the questions about Darnell Nurse. Of course, he's an important part. You're worried about his health. You want to know kind of a timeline if there's one for him. But there has to be questions about the biggest blunder in the game, guys. And for me, it was far too generic of a question and far too of a soft answer in my eyes.
Yeah, it was pretty soft, pretty gentle. I think we would like, fans would like, maybe a little bit more. And the more is not just that's unfortunate that we, even him just saying we can't make those plays, we can't have those turnovers. Something as simple as that, I think would placate a lot more. But again, this is the media facing side to it. We don't know what he said in the room. We don't know what's being said in the room. So let's just, take a deep breath, because it doesn't mean they're in there just, hugging it out and patting each other on the back. There could be words that are being spoken. So let's just, pump the brakes on that. No one's being held accountable and no one's talking to anybody.
Cass, just let me complain about no public spanking, okay? I'm
All
just
right,
kidding.
complain about it. Go
It's
for
good
it.
perspective. It's good perspective. All right, a couple more texts here. Anything else in the room coming up here, Hernan? I know we only have Cass for a couple more minutes, but...
Rico.
Okay. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins didn't do much tonight, so let's put Adam Henrique in the queue. Let's go to this text from Adam from Lloyd. Adam from Lloyd says, hey, boys, rough way to lose that one. 3 games in a row now, they've given up the lead on garbage plays. Bouchard, not good enough. Skinner, not good enough. Power play, not good enough. PK, tonight, so he's happy about the PK, and that's one silver lining that we talked about. Can't blame every goal on Skinner, but he needs to bail them out at least once. I agree with you there, Adam from Lloyd. Adam from Lloyd adds, could have been the difference in the game tonight. Stolarz outplayed him, and the recent chatter about getting what you pay for with goalies, a.k.a. Stolarz, Oilers legend, says Adam from Lloyd, makes less than Skinner, so there goes that. It's not all on him, but Skinner, 5-on-5, 877. Pickard, 4-2 with an 890. I think we know which goalie needs to be ridden more. Of course, on Hockey Night Canada for the whole world to see. This ruined my buzz. Time to hit the showers. Have a good one, boys. I understand the numbers that Adam from Lloyd is pointing out, but they're not flipping Calvin Pickard and Stu Skinner as starter and backup.
No, nor should they.
No.
And I'm about to listen to, there are 3 or 4 individuals in the nasty chat rip me to pieces for that, for saying that. But no, nor should they.
Guys, Stuart Skinner is this team's starting goalie.
Whether you like it or not.
A 5-game sequence, 18 games into this season, that's not changing it. This team is over 500. We have to understand that. Like, you can get into the minutia of the numbers, and I'm not fighting for Stu Skinner here. I'm just telling you that looking at those numbers, pinpointing them, and I fully understand why we would look at those numbers, especially from the fan base side of things, where you want this team to do well. It will not change who is the starter and who is the backup. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it at that. Nance, so get us into the next clips.
Here's Adam Henrique, who scored the first goal of the night for the Edmonton Oilers. Here he is following the Oilers 4-3 loss to the Leafs.
I don't know what you saw or when you saw it.
Yeah, I didn't see a replay, but obviously they watched it. It was to the head. So, just a bad play. Nursing means a lot to this team, so hopefully he's all right and then be back soon.
Did you have a chance to, I don't know if you had a chance to see him or hear anything about maybe how he's doing or not? I know maybe in an intermission.
Not sure yet, yeah.
You mentioned what does he mean to this group on the whole?
Well, he's big back there. Like he's been playing great for us. He's just solid everywhere, all over the ice. Chips in offensively, and he's been playing great defensively all over the ice, making plays out of the D zone. Makes it easier on the forwards. So,
where does your mind go when you see your teammate bloodied on the ice like that?
Well, it's hard. You never want to see that. You never want to see, bad hits to the head. So it was tough.
What's the concern level like? You guys are used to things happen, fast forward, but when you see blood, and guys dazed, I mean that's kind of above what you.
Yeah, I mean you never want to see that. We all know that things happen. The game is fast and things happen quick. But you never want to see that. You just I guess in the situation you do what you can to help out if need be. But and then you just hope you're all right.
Guys in a vulnerable spot, and this kind of hits just not necessary in this kind of.
Yeah, I mean, again, the game is fast, and avoiding the hit. I mean, I think we're professional athletes, and we're able to make those decisions quick. I think in our head, and you know when a guy's vulnerable or in a bad spot, those sorts of things. I think around the ice. So just one you don't want to see.
What about the game getting a point? I don't know how. Sometimes you're happy about a point. Sometimes you're more worried about the one you didn't get.
Yeah, you obviously you want to see locked down there at the end. Again, late in the game, give up the tire and go ahead. And then I thought those guys did a great job going right back out to get pressure and find a way to tie it. And I ended up getting the point there, but obviously you want two, and you want two in regulation when you can.
How do you describe that 59-second stretch and what was kind of said on the bench to maybe try and get the team back into it?
Well, you just can't get too high, can't get too low. You got to you just got to be foot on the gas right away again to respond. I thought we did a good job of that.
All right, there's Adam Henrik. He picked up a goal tonight and talked about the hit, avoiding the hit. He was very diplomatic, guys. That's what I get out of that. But outside of that, I don't. Even with the 59-second 2-goal thing, 2 bad plays by Evan Bouchard. Very diplomatic.
I mean,
a politician would be proud of him.
I fully expected him to walk up there and say, "Yeah, Evan Bouchard is garbage, and we need to trade Stuart Skinner right now because he's garbage too." And by the way, Jeff Jackson is garbage, and so is Bowman. They're all garbage, and our team is ruined, and they ruined the team, and we need to blow up everything because we suck. That's what I expected him to say. So I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, Cass, I'm with you. I agree with you. Like, I know you're being sarcastic, but I like emotion. We all like emotion. But to be like, listen, we're better than that. We can make the right play. We shouldn't be making those types of plays. I think sometimes there is some relief, or it eases some of the burn if you just hear that, and those types of things can be said without throwing Evan Bouchard under the bus as his teammate. We didn't get that. I think fans would be like, oh, okay, at least they recognize it. They just said it, and for them, the simplicity of that is what they can appreciate. And listen, man, we know the nuances of it, and that's why I said, like, he's being very diplomatic about it, which he's being a good teammate.
Yep, what you gonna do? You mean you want to blow up the room? You lose a game in overtime. You should have won. You had the lead. You're not gonna blow up the room. You're not like. I think I used this example in the nasty chat, but if I have a bad post-game show and I walk into the studio and everyone's in there and Dusty just starts ripping me apart in front of everybody, it's not going to be effective. Yeah. It's really not going to be effective. Now pulling me aside and saying, hey man, you were off your game. You can work on this and work on this. We need you to be better. That's a completely different conversation, right? To say, hey, we believe in you. We know what you can do. man, you gotta back check in that situation. You got to come back. You can't make that play. You can't make that play. So just bear down and make the right decision. We have the lead at that point. I know you're thinking offense. Like that's the way the conversation should go. And hopefully it is going, but we're not going to see that in the media. They're not going to do that out here. Now, if it gets to a point where it continues to happen and things get worse, then you might, because you do start to ramp up the pressure in different ways. But as I said before, I'll say again, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. So it's not like this team, the last 10 games is completely fallen apart. They've been actually improving in a lot of areas and improving some things. Now they haven't improved at blowing leads. They've not done very well with that. So yes, there's things to fix. And yes, they have to find ways to win those hockey games, but to sit and to think that they should be, or, need to start talking about blowing it up and this team is horrible and calling teammates out in the press, you're not going to do it yet.
No. Good point. Good perspective as well. Nat, so anything else for Cass before I move on to looking ahead to Monday in Montreal?
Nope. We're good.
All right. Okay, we've got another Amazon Prime game in Montreal, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time start. This Oilers team obviously putting together a string of games where they're picking up points. You want to see wins. They get the OT loss tonight. Cass, it's not going to be the same as the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it is still a cathedral of hockey, one of the original 6 cities. What needs to happen for the Oilers to get a win against the weaker Habs team and without the services probably of Darnell Nurse?
Yeah, not give up a lead in the last 10 minutes of a hockey game or in the third period. I mean, how about have a good third period or an average third period instead of a poor third period? I mean, that I think would be something. Love that building, by the way. Still my favorite place to play. Still my favorite hotel. Full bidet. It's amazing. What a great place to be.
What happened on the ice that you like it so much?
Well, first game there was Saturday night hockey night in Canada, 2 goals and a post. So that was, great memories in that building. And I just always played well there after that. It was just like mentally, it was just a good place to play. I just loved it. Loved the crowd, loved how much they hated you. It was great. Just kind of like how I'm getting the heat in the nasty chat today. It just makes me better. I appreciate it. I like it. I enjoy it. But for the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, hey, I think the emotional side of most likely not having Darnell Nurse, that will be something to overcome. Who steps up? Again, Kulak probably shifts to that second pairing left side.
Oh, yeah.
But on that right, whether it's Stetcher, Emberson, or Dermott, who steps in, puts in minutes, and can put together a solid night? Because although the Montreal Canadiens aren't, I don't think, nearly as good as the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're still a team that's going to try to beat you. They're still a team that's scrappy. They're playing at home, and you're going to have to find a way to have a solid second pairing for that game in Montreal.
The Habs, as of right now, 5-10-2. Last time I checked up on NHL.com's media website, I know that they were they in action? I'm looking up right now. Yes, they won 5-1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So we'll see how the Oilers go into one of the most historic cities in the National Hockey League, and if they're able to take care of business despite not having Darnell Nurse. And we'll see if there's any movement when it comes to the roster heading into Monday. Cass, great work as always. Love the party cardi. It didn't work tonight. It got them just a point, but you were still excellent.
You know what I think the issue was I did the lucky hat and the cardigan. And
too much of a good thing?
Itself out, so that's the problem.
Well, you were excellent as always, my friend. Don't let the haters get to you. You were fantastic.
I won't. Like I said, it's fun. We're having fun.
Yes.
And everyone that's ripping, I know you're emotional. It's good. I enjoy it. It's good. We're happy you're listening. Happy to fight with you and yell at you in caps on the nasty chat. So appreciate it. Appreciate both of you guys.
See you later,
love
Cass.
you too, Cass. All right. Have a good weekend. There's our game analyst, Matt Cassian, helping us break down the Oilers. 4-3 overtime loss. Listen, people are pissed off, and it's part of what we do. And so,
it is. And
we'll absorb some of that negative energy. You and I have been doing it for a long time with Cass. But man, I don't usually blow up on things. I would like to see a little bit of those 2 plays. We can't have that. Not just unacceptable. Those are brutal. Those are bad.
Well, he said
unfortunate. But Cass makes it.
He said unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Pardon me. But Cass is right. It's not like going and saying it publicly to the media is going to help the player improve and not do it next time.
No, but
as much as we'd like to hear it.
I get what you're saying, Tom, but and I agree with you. Like, you want to see a little bit of again, we're not asking for them to call players. Of course, they're not going to. They spend way too much time together. They're brothers. They have each other's backs.
Yes,
but
which is great.
You can say, like, especially the head coach, you can say, like, we can't have those plays happen. Especially in November, we're finally finding a bit of a groove here. We're a Stanley Cup contender. And those plays can't happen. And what bothered me, and I went off in the intro and said, sit him down, Evan Bouchard. I didn't mean sit him out of a game, because that's not, like, I'm not that dumb. It's not going to happen. Like, he's still a big part of this team. Yeah. He runs the power play at the point. What I meant was he should have sat that rest of that game, Tom. I'm sorry. He should have. And I don't care that you were down, Darnell Nurse. Roll with 5 guys. Send a message. You did it with Draisaitl.
Consequences.
You did it with Skinner, but then this guy gets even more ice time, costs you another goal. Now, Cass is right. Ekholm and him are both at fault. And then overtime, it's a 2-on-1 that it's just a shot that Skinner, for me, has to have. And I get the frustration with Skinner. It's just because listen, are you going to put a lot of the goals on him tonight? Probably not. Maybe 1 or 2 for sure. Yeah. But it's about the timely save, Tom. When Bouchard has a brain cramp and gives up the puck, you would like him to bail it out, because we've seen every other goalie do it. Stolarz was fantastic today at 2-1. He was. No, he gave up the goal late. I get that, but he made one McDavid when he cut in right off the faceoff in overtime. That was a good save. It was a good save. So I get why Oiler fans are saying, and listen, and you can throw me all the stats you want. The only part I agree with Stuart Skinner, you need timely saves, and he doesn't give him to you. He doesn't, outside of maybe 1 or 2 games this season, and I think that's where the frustration is. So for me, I think it's soft what Knobloch said today. I think it was soft that Evan Bouchard didn't talk. Maybe the media didn't ask for him. I don't know. I'm sorry, but own it, man. Like, this guy's, he's still a young defenseman, Tom, but those game plays were brutal. He single-handedly cost his team the extra point. He did. And enough is
I agree with you on that.
Enough is enough with this guy. He's a slow starter, sure. Well, it's time to pick it up. And now with Nurse potentially out, holy smokes, Tom. If Evan Bouchard is going to continue to play like this, the only benefit, and we've had a few chuckles over it, is that his AAV is going down for his next contract. That's the only benefit.
That is something that has come up quite a bit. I've seen it in the nasty chat. I've seen it in the text line, and I do laugh. Lots of hockey left to be played before that contract happens, but yeah, I get it. I understand where the vitriol comes from, and tonight, understandably so. Sometimes tough love works. Tough love is still love. You want the best for them, but you're not going to pat them on the back and say, that's okay to F up all the time. You go, no, that is wrong to F up. Stop doing it. You can't, because if we keep doing it, we're not putting you back out there.
Tom, simple. This is not Bouchard's first game where he's had blunders that cost him goals. He's had at least 10 this season. And I get it. You're not gonna stop playing him, especially now. But like, this is nothing new to Evan Bouchard. Like, wake up, man. Like, seriously. Like, and listen, it's not all on Evan Bouchard. This team's giving up a lot of late goal leads lately, and it's the team. It's everything. And the positives tonight, the big boys look good. And Tom, let's not forget, I want to throw this in there, and I don't think we've said it enough. They played pretty damn well. They're up 2-1 for most of this game.
They were.
I wanted to see a little bit more urgency on the 5-minute power play. Like, your guy just went down with a vicious hit, and you have no beat. Like, there's no urgency. There's no, let's go do it for Darnell. It's just, let's just go out there, and maybe our skill will win us this game or score us a goal, but we're not going to outwork anyone. Like, let's just wait. Like, that's what's frustrating about this team. Now, they got the momentum back after killing the 5-on-3, but it's just, I don't know. This team shouldn't be playing this poorly late in games, and Evan Bouchard shouldn't be this poor. Sorry.
I'll tell you this, a chip off the glass, and we could be talking about 2 points for the Oilers, and everything is good. They battled through an injury and this and that, and Skinner held them in there. A chip off of the glass could have led us that way, but that was not the decision that was made.
And it's not sexy.
Went the other way.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy.
And everybody hates it. I get it. I get it. But, oh, man, like, trying to make a pass, and even when Cass always has a very good rational take. He's honest, and he even said, where was that pass going, Tom?
No idea.
Like,
no idea.
He wasn't under pressure. He goes around the net, brings it back the other way on a quick stop, and it's just, I'm just like, I'm over it, man. Like, and I know they got a point, and there was positives. The PK was a positive. But even look at the first goal. Emberson loses the puck. McDavid loses the puck. Like, it's just, I'd understand if Emberson made that play or Dermott and half-assed it back on the third goal. I'd get it. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? They're 6'7" defensemen. Not Evan Bouchard. Not Evan Bouchard. And go look at that third goal, guys, and look at the effort from the blue line in. And like Cass said, maybe he doesn't get there, but at least give it a damn try, man.
Thank you. Well said. I did see a couple texts that came in via the nasty chat that I want to touch on, and then I'll go into the inbox really quickly. 780-218-9999. The Oilers lose 4-3 to the Maple Leafs in Toronto to kick off a 3-game Eastern Canadian road trip. Gazzola and Salas with you. I'm live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. We're at Hudson's on the 21st for the pre- and post-game show there. We're going to be busy on the road. We're going to be back here at BP Westgate on the 30th, and then we're also at Kelly's Pub on the 23rd. So check that on location tab on the Edmonton Sports Talk website. And okay, let's get to these texts. It was from Shane, who was not happy about our Bouchard commentary. Shane says every single team in the league would take Bouchard in a heartbeat. Shane, we're not disagreeing with that. But Shane also followed up with that. Bouchard was terrible last year. You'll see when he makes Team Canada. That doesn't justify his errors tonight, Shane.
Oh, and we're talking about tonight. Like,
yes.
Does that mean I think Evan Bouchard should never play hockey again or not play for the Edmonton Oilers? I said he should have sat him after that second goal. That's all I said. And he's been up and down, mostly down this year. And that's fair, Tom. We're not saying anything that's not fair right now.
Yeah. You screw up, we talk about it on the post-game show in a game. You can totally redeem yourself on Monday by getting a hat trick. I'm just saying. Let's go to La Bamba guy texting and says, you know what the Oilers need to fix their problems? A good veteran defenseman that can slow down the game like that Cece in San Jose, along with a young up-and-coming shutdown guy. Off the top of my head, Broberg out in St. Louis is looking great, and a good top six filler when the guys who are big and relied upon are out. A Holloway type in St. Louis is also looking really good. La Bamba guy, you're right. You can't go back in time, unfortunately. And that's not going to happen. But, yeah, they got totally played by the St. Louis Blues with those offer sheets, and we know that, but you can't go back. All right, Nan, so do we even go back inside the Oilers locker room one more time? Don't need it. Don't need it.
It's
All
the
right.
same. If you want to hear news, just listen to Henrique. It's pretty much the same. So
okay, fair enough. Last thoughts from you on this one as Edmonton does pick
Tommy,
up
do you want to
point.
do player of the game?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's do player of the game. Let's do it right now, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. Damon Bunting, Remax Elite player of the game. Brought to you by Damon Bunting, who is a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Nanso, I'm glad you reminded me because we were getting all fired up. Who is your Damon Bunting Remax Elite player of the game? If you say Evan Bouchard, so help me God, I'm going to drive my ass back down to the studio. I'm kidding.
I was going to say Stuart Skinner. No, Leon, I'm going to give it to Leon Draisaitl because McDavid did screw up on the first goal against, but I thought Leon was pretty good tonight. He had a lot of good moments in this game. 1 goal, 1 assist, 22:09 on ice, 3 shots on net, and 1 block shot. So the Damon Bunting player of the game on this Saturday is Mr. Leon Draisaitl.
Well done, sir. Well done. That takes care of all the business in tonight's post-game show. A huge thank you to Curtis, Tony, the entire staff here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Absolutely tremendous. The QR code, by the way, is for the golf simulator. That's the Coors Light Golf Simulator over my shoulder. If you're watching on YouTube, $20 an hour. That QR code will take you to the reservation page. And it was going earlier in the night. Absolutely tremendous. Sometimes they turn it into an extra TV here inside the BP Lounge. And so we gave away the cooler. We gave away an Oilers home jersey. We gave away a couple of hoodies. One was a Oilers Heritage Classic one. Another was a Team Canada hoodie. And then we also had a small speaker, and then just a ton of absolutely tremendous gift cards to Boston Pizza. So it's always a good time down here at Boston Pizza Westgate.
Away the club.
We did give it away. I was going to say, we do have a winner for the tailor-made putter, courtesy of Molson Canadian and the fine staff here at Boston Pizza Westgate. We've contacted the winner. I already saw that, Hernan.
Okay.
It's all taken care of.
You have all the info?
I've got all the info. I will pass it along your way to everybody who entered and got the trivia question correctly. Thank you. We appreciate that. Hernan, who did factor in on the last Oilers victory in Toronto, which was an overtime win?
Yeah, I tied it into the last game where they won in overtime. It was Darnell Nurse scoring the winner from Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So the same three that connected in the last game in overtime won the last time in Toronto in overtime. So Darnell Nurse from McDavid and Draisaitl. We had a lot of correct answers, but we can only select one winner, and they've been notified, and they'll be heading down sometime in the next week or so to pick up their prize.
Absolutely awesome. It pays to listen to us and to watch us here on Edmonton Sports Talk and on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. We are back on location. Like I said, Hudson's on the 21st. White Avenue location, and then we're at Kelly's Pub on the 23rd. It's part of Winterval. It's a winter festival downtown. We're back here at Boston Pizza Westgate on the 30th. Hudson's, Bourbon Street, across the street on the 29th. And if you want to come have lunch with Dusty and myself, who will be back on Tuesday, we are at Boston Pizza Capilano on the 27th. Hernan, buddy, I saw that fire in your eyes off the top of the show. I got excited. Well done, my friend. The Latino Heat raging, burning, and absolutely bringing that passion for Matt Cassian and the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you so very much for joining us on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Oil Country. They did get a point tonight. The penalty kill, 4 for 4. We will see you on Monday. Ciao for now.